The name of the new actor cast in the coveted role of Jesus Christ has been revealed, and well, it's not an actor, it's an actress. According to Hollywood's own Bible, Variety, Cynthia Erivo, last seen playing the part of the Wicked Witch of the West in the hit movie Wicked, is to star in the new production of Jesus Christ Superstar. Needless to say, some religious commentators have expressed some surprise given the previously common held belief that Jesus was in fact a Middle Eastern man with a beard. So is this a case of creative artistic license or blasphemous cultural appropriation?
All right, well, we haven't done any Piers in a hot minute, so let's go back into Crazy Town, where in this riveting video, Piers Morgan and his panel talk about whether or not a female black actor can portray Jesus Christ. And, you know, it didn't go off the rails as hard or as fast as I thought it would, but it's still chock full of that delicious cuckoo bird baloney that Piers Morgan is so good at. Let's give him his due. I'm going to do my best to resist jumping in every second because he's very triggering for me, which is why I think I come back to him. And then I want to know what you think in the comments, but let's roll it.
Okay, so Jesus, it turns out, is a black woman. Your thoughts?
Well, listen, Piers, you know that I don't like to feign outrage just for the purpose of feigning outrage. So I'll tell you, I have a unique take on this, and I think you're going to be surprised. So I first of all want to point out the hypocrisy, because if this were the other way around and it would be, you know, a white man playing a role that should have gone to maybe a black woman, there would be outrage and hysteria from the left, and maybe understandably so. I don't know. But it would be claims of cultural appropriation. We'd never hear the end of it. I don't want to do that, though, because I got to tell you, Piers, when they put on these musicals, these productions, they're probably going to have people from the LGBT community in them. I understand that that's part of the culture of not only Hollywood, but also theater. I think it's a little ridiculous. I obviously think maybe it was also meant to poke the eye of Christians and people that, I don't know, might be followers of Jesus Christ. Maybe that was part of the point, but I'm not going to get outraged just for the case of being outraged. I think that Hollywood and culture and entertainment has lost step with the average person, certainly the average American long ago. So let them have their freak shows. I'm not going to get too upset about it. Wow. Okay. A devastatingly surprising twist to events from a very moderate and reasonable Tomi Lahren about this, when I thought you'd be blowing your stack. So, Ernest, my question for you is, so I want to play Nelson Mandela, okay, in a new musical version of his life. Are you good with that?
I mean, personally, I'm not. But
You're not?
I think that the
You're not
reality
good with
is that I'm not. Personally, no. I don't think you're that
well,
good
hang on.
an
Okay,
actor.
so that's interesting. So why can't I play Nelson Mandela?
I mean, I think that he's a historical figure that people are familiar with. I mean, there are various variations of Jesus.
But I'm an actor.
We have been seeing in
hang
America
on. I'm an actor. I'm an actor. I've been in 10 movies. They've grossed $2.6 billion, the movies I've been in. I'm literally one of the biggest box office stars in terms of cameos in the history of movies. So I would like to play Nelson Mandela. Is your objection, be honest, my skin color? That he's a black icon, quite rightly. Is it the fact that I'm a white guy? Is that why I can't play him?
I mean, are you trying to make the correlation between Cynthia Erivo? I mean, you can argue that Cynthia Erivo playing Jesus is a gender thing.
Hang on. I'm going to come to that.
So which one is it?
I'm coming to Cynthia. I'm just asking you, on principle, is your objection to me playing Mandela the fact that I'm white? Be honest.
If it's a historical biopic, yes, because you're not.
Okay.
So therefore,
Second
yes.
question.
Because it's a historical biopic.
Second question. If it was a woman that wanted to play Mandela, how would you feel?
Historical figure-wise, if it was a biopic, it would be historically inaccurate, so no.
Okay, great. So you've established that you don't like people playing roles where they don't have the right skin color or gender.
This is kind of the central irritant for me, is that he's trying to kind of gotcha these guys into, you know, bully them into being like, aha, you're a hypocrite. It's all opinion, right? So there's nobody's arguing that Piers Morgan shouldn't legally be allowed to play. You know, if you want to put on blackface and play Nelson Mandela, go for it, dude. I don't know that there's an appetite for it, right? And what they're talking about playing to the home team. You know, if it's an all-female production of Jesus Christ Superstar, it's not a historical thing, right? Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote it. You can quibble whether it's satire, but it's a Broadway musical, right? So they obviously think there's an audience for it, and at the end of the day, they're selling tickets to a thing. They're not trying to rewrite history. It's not some victory lap on whatever. If you don't want to see it, don't go see it. And Piers, if you want to play Nelson Mandela, then by all means, go for it, dude. I'll be interested to see how that comes out. But no one's going to try and, hang you on the Capitol steps for having done it. People will have opinions about it, but that's good for your business, right, man?
If we know who that role is.
For historical purposes, because Cleopatra, Elizabeth, Taylor playing Cleopatra was historically inaccurate, and I wasn't a fan of that.
Well, they were both women, weren't they? They were both women.
If you want to talk about race, for example, Zoe Saldana, doing the dark blackface for Nina Simone was also inappropriate. I wasn't a fan of that either.
Okay, so on Cynthia Erivo, do you have any problem with her? Okay, do you have a problem then with Jesus being played by a black woman?
If you understand the theme of it all, of what Jesus Christ Superstar the musical is, and you have that theatrical, historical context behind that musical specifically, then no, I don't have a problem with it, because it is part of it, it's satirical. So if you understand satire, then you understand why Tomi Lahren is also not giving a damn about it, because she understands the context on the musical front. So we can agree on that.
Nadrotic, where are we with this?
Well, I don't have a dog in this fight, and I remember my mom playing Jesus Christ Superstar all the time, and we all know that this isn't the first time a black woman or a woman has played Jesus, and they'll do it 1,000 more times. I am from the point of view that because this is an all-female production, apparently, so when you have to gender swap an entire cast, that just means your story is played out. We have Ocean's 8 for one example, Doctor Who for another one. But as far as this is concerned, I just think it's the lowest hanging fruit, and it's such a played out thing in Hollywood. Yes, they're playing to the home team. This is going to be at the Hollywood Bowl. But playing to the home team is one thing. They're trying to piss people off at this point. And I'm just going to say, as a believer in free speech and free expression, let's not stop there. I want to hear Muhammad Superstar. Let's do that play, played by all women. Let's go. Let's go all the way on this one. Come on, let's see what happens, Hollywood. You're so edgy. Let's do it.
I mean, again, why do that? I don't get the dare. I don't get the come on, Hollywood. Who's the audience for that? Right? Who's going to buy a ticket to see that? You're making it sound like it's the public education system or they're rewriting history books. This is just plays.
And actually, you raise a very good point, because they would never dare do that.
No,
so it's one rule
never.
for Christianity and lampooning and satire. Very, very different rule if it was Islam was the religion that was being mocked in that way.
Again, I don't know that Christianity is being mocked. I mean, perhaps it is a satire, but I think what Piers is talking about is making a mockery of the sacred history of Jesus Christ as a white man. I mean, to be fair, Piers doesn't say he's white per se, but it's clear that that's what he thinks. Blonde-haired, blue-eyed Jesus, the way it's depicted in paintings by, white people. Again, that's not the point. First of all, there is no Muhammad Superstar. Andrew Lloyd Webber didn't write that one, right? So, first of all, that play doesn't exist. And second of all, there's no obligation to equally perform. It's insane. If you're offended by the fact that a black woman is going to play Jesus Christ in any capacity, state your reasons as to why you think that's wrong. And it doesn't count if you say it's not fair because the other side doesn't. Then write it. You want to see people cast you as Nelson Mandela. You write that project and put yourself in it. If you want to see Muhammad Superstar, you do it. Why should quote unquote Hollywood or the elite left make that property just to make it fair? What are you talking about?
Okay, let's just move to the Oh, I'm sorry. Jason's with us. I'm so sorry. Jason Lee. Jason, welcome. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Nearly
listen,
forgot
Piers,
about you, but
Piers,
I rescued him back.
Piers, now you know I love you. I love coming to your show because you always create a controversial conversation. No, you did not just ask a black man if a white man can play Nelson Mandela during Black History Month. I know you didn't just ask that question. Now you know there's no way in hell.
Exactly.
There's no way in hell we're going to allow that to happen.
Why?
There's not a white man on this earth that has spent 27 years fighting for freedom like Nelson Mandela.
So why
did.
should a black woman play Jesus Christ, who was a bloke with a beard?
But well, first of all, you talking to two black people on your show right now. Some would argue in the Bible that Jesus was black, but I'm not going to pass to Tomi Lahren, who had a lot to say at the top about the gays, because nobody wants to acknowledge history, and the fact is that it is what it is. Now, if you want to read the Bible, if any of you do it, it talks about Jesus having wool hair. I don't know white people with wool hair. I know black people with wool hair, but again, we don't want to describe Jesus as being black.
Can we agree that? All right, but can we agree, Jason, that Jesus was male, a man?
Listen, you can poll 20 people about who Jesus was, and you may get 20 different answers.
Have you ever heard anyone say he's a woman? Have you ever heard anyone say he's a woman?
Passion of the Christ. I didn't see a woman carrying the cross, but Mel Gibson got canceled right after that meeting. So I don't know what is. I can say to me, Jesus is more of energy. Jesus is more of a spiritual being. Jesus can be black. Jesus could be a woman. Jesus could be whoever you want it to be.
No, Jesus.
But when it comes in our country,
Jesus was a bloke.
Go ahead.
He was a man.
Yeah, not a concept.
Sorry, Nadrilling?
Was he a white man?
Oh, it's not a concept.
Right. I don't know why we're quibbling. Surely we can all agree he was a man, can't we?
Listen, but it's not a biopic. It's a satire. It's not. I mean, I think you're taking
it's kind of a biopic. He's like the most famous person in the history of the planet.
You gotta lighten up, Piers. You gotta lighten up, Piers.
The conversation they really want to have is that this is a DEI hire, that this is a DEI move, that this is because everything right now we're trying to get it all into the direction of DEI to fall into that national.
I haven't mentioned DEI.
No, that's what Hollywood's been doing. I haven't
mentioned it.
Actually,
you're the ones obsessed with DEI, which I think has always been a ridiculous thing because all it ever did was promote.
Who came up with it?
All it ever do was promote mediocrity over meritocracy. I just don't like it. I don't like anything that does that. It was never about inclusion. If anything, it was about excluding people. That was the whole point. If you were a white bloke, DEI wanted you excluded.
We could debate DEI all day, but people who are fighting about DEI are still trying to find affordable eggs in our country. You know what I mean? Right now, we have a president who's passing plastic straws and not focusing on the needs of America, but that's a whole other show.
Okay.
I think Cynthia Erivo is...
Hang on.
Yeah, we're going to stop it there. This guy doesn't make any particularly valid points as far as I'm concerned, and then bringing in the price of eggs at the end there. Don't get Piers Morgan started on eggs and who's responsible for eggs. It's just that's a whole different hour-long crazy. Anyway, that's Piers Morgan for you today. Let me know what you think of the comments.